Hello and welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. My name's Shane. As always, I'm here with Churchy.
I'm Fox.
Or Fox.
I'm Churchy.
Fox is AFK, out of action, AWOL, MIA, many of the above. So I'm here with Churchy instead. Churchy is our first ever guest and also first ever recurring guest.
Yep.
If you guys remember back in season 1, when Fox was helping bring new life into the world. I don't know how much he was helping, but he was there. He was a witness to it. And Churchy was in the studio, back in the River studio.
Yes, back in the old days.
Yeah, yep. Come
Seems
a little
like
way
so
since
long ago
then.
now,
Yeah, got the camera going. Didn't have
Weird.
cameras back then. They didn't exist.
Just a little known. That was a long time ago.
Yep.
It was before video was invented.
Yep.
All we had back then was audio.
Back in 2002. Yep.
Well, 2020, I think it was.
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before the invention of the video camera. Back when all there was audio booths and microphones.
Exactly. And that's episode
and tales of the high seas to
bad
get your
history. No, we're just going to hang out today. We had a lot of stuff planned, Fox and I, but that's going on the back burner. And we're just going to talk some other shit today.
Fox is AFK. He's unwell.
Yep.
We wish him well soon.
A speedy recovery, as always.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Does, but
yeah, I mean, like, if he does, then
that's on
Yeah.
the down low, though.
I feel like it's some, like, Game of Thrones kind of shit, where it's like, if he dies, then you, like, take his place.
When you play the game of podcasts, you either win or you die. Or whatever.
Exactly.
I like diseased him
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah, you poisoned him.
That theme starts playing. The whatever it is, the like I don't know, the
It's been so long since I watched Game of
Castle
Thrones.
Rock or whatever. It's some theme
Oh,
of like
yeah.
the Lannisters or whatever
Yep.
when they do that red wedding scene.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting there with a violin outside Fox's house, like. I gave you disease.
He's like looking out the window. He's like, he's still there. He's like, I mean, I feel like a bit shit, but I'm like, I'm all right.
I'm gonna get better. In fact, I'm feeling better right now.
Yeah.
I might even go to that podcast recording tonight. And like, burst through the window, inject him with something. Oh, I feel. Ooh.
Yep.
Tear away. Come here.
They'll do it.
That's what my afternoon was like.
Yeah. Busy. Very busy. What else have you been up to, Churchy?
It's just the usual.
The usual. Yep.
The YouTube stuff, making some music, and helping you guys out with the podcast.
Always. That's a full-time job in its own right, almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We couldn't do it without you, as you know, as everyone else knows as well. You make all that this look and sound good.
Well, they feed me, and like Shane fed me a pizza tonight, so that was good. Sometimes I'm allowed out of the cupboard.
Not always though.
Out of the void.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been up to lately?
Not much, man. Not much. Preparing for episodes that didn't happen.
And here we are now.
Here we are now.
But yeah, no. I've been keeping busy. Like the music making's always fun. What's great is at the moment, like because the YouTube stuff's going well.
Yep.
And because the stuff with you guys is going well, Hobby Homies is going well. It's meant that like because I've been able to give up the Coles job I was doing.
Yep.
And no longer working that supermarket job.
Oh, yep.
I've had more time, and I've just felt more free and just been able to do my own thing.
Yep.
Which has then made me have more time to be creative and work on music, and pretty much that's been really good. So I've been getting a lot more music done than I was 6 months ago.
It's amazing, like people that do creative things like making music, podcasts, videos, photography, whatever. It's amazing how much that normal day-to-day life, like work and family commitments and stuff, can actually slow your progress down. Like,
for sure.
The fact that you've been able to cut out that and you're kicking off from what you're doing like now is brilliant. It means you can put 100% of effort into it rather than like splitting it 50-50 or...
And it's that thing too of like, you don't have those days where you're sitting there thinking like, oh crap, I got to go to work later.
Yeah.
And then you have no motivation, and then you're like, oh fuck. Like by the time you get home, you're exhausted and you just don't want to do anything. And then that kind of feeds on and just becomes this loop.
Yep.
But yeah, without that, it's sort of, it's just meant that like, I've pretty much, like in my mind, not that I do, but like I if I wanted to, I could just be like, yeah, I'm going to stay up all night and make music or play games or make a video, edit a video. I've done that a few times, stayed up all night editing videos. But yeah, no, it's just that like, that freedom to kind of like, because I'm my own boss now, basically. Like, when I want to do stuff, I do stuff.
Yep.
There's no timeline to it. Like, I don't have to do stuff between 9 to 5, you know? Yeah, I'm chill. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so awesome, man. It's actually amazing to think, like, we've been doing this for over a year now. And, like, so much has changed both with us and with you, like what you've been doing. Now, I want to know, you've been listening to us talk hobby for hundreds of hours. It's got to be hundreds of hours.
Oh, yeah,
not only what we've recorded, but also before and after recording, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Has your... I asked you a question last time you were in the studio with us, and I asked you what universe, if it made a miniatures war game, would get you into the hobby. Like, you just nosedive into it. Has that changed? Have you come across something new, or have your thoughts on miniature wargaming changed?
Well, to be honest, I can't remember what my answer was. so
I think it was no. Like, I asked you, I'm like, what about Fallout? And you're like, because I know you love Fallout, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, there's a miniatures war game.
They have that like board game,
with
miniatures or whatever.
Yeah,
that I think looks cool.
Yeah,
I'd probably play that sometime.
Yeah,
that's probably what I said last time.
Probably, yeah. Like, we've been talking, a lot of hobby and a lot of stuff, and you've got some Legion stuff, you've got some 40k stuff,
yeah,
you've got a bit of everything,
a little bit of this and that.
Yeah. Has your thoughts on the hobby itself grown, or are you still sort of like, you appreciate it and you dig some sides of it, but you're not fully invested in it?
Well, I'm definitely not invested in it.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's sort of, I've definitely gotten more into it than I was.
Yeah.
Just purely by, again, that evolution of just like working with you guys, seeing how far we've come, like seeing all the cool miniatures and stuff all the time. For example, like I spent probably an hour or more just looking on the Games Workshop website, looking at all the 40k stuff.
Yeah.
And just like making new tabs of all the stuff that I thought cool that I'd want to buy.
Yeah.
And then it all ended up, total it was going to be like over $1,000. So there was over $1,000 of stuff that I thought looked wicked in the 40k universe.
Yeah.
That I was like, man, that would be cool to have and like get it and assemble it and paint it and everything.
Yeah.
That's something I wouldn't have done a year ago.
No.
Like, because I had been in the hobby a little bit and then I bounced off it again, and then 6 months later was when you're like, hey, I want to do a podcast.
It was right after I sold all your army for you.
You're like, hey, so I've just sold all your stuff.
Yeah. Now I'm doing a
podcast. We should play war games sometime. Yeah, well, about that. But yeah, no, so I'm definitely more invested than I was. And also, I just, there's a lot more stuff in the 40k universe and that now appeals to me more.
Yep.
Because the other thing behind the scenes is like, sometimes I'll fall asleep watching like Warhammer 40k lore videos and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, you just kick back and listen to it.
Yeah, so it's sort of over time, over the last year, I've definitely much more, still not necessarily invested in it, but more interested in it.
Yeah.
And, I've actually gone as far as assembling some models and painting, well, not painting, I guess I painted like one. I've primed some and I painted like a couple of droid models and stuff. Yeah. So I've done like a little bit of painting. But more recently, I assembled some Tempestus Scions and got to assemble some more of those and then paint those.
Yeah.
I've primed some Legion Death Troopers.
Yep.
The
beauty of it is it's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you can take as long as you need to prime and build and paint whatever you've got. It ain't going anywhere. And like you haven't got a 2,000 point currently competitive army that will be out. The meta will change in 6 months' time. What you've got because you think it's cool.
Yeah,
which is sick. Like that's. And the fact that you went and picked like $1,000 worth of probably units that wouldn't work together in an army.
Oh, no, probably not. It was just stuff I thought looked cool.
Yeah, you're like, I like him. I'll fucking add him to cart. Another one. Yeah. So that's sick, man. Like, it shows that obviously you appreciate it, and you see a lot of the side that people, I think, take for granted. You know, like the fact that people can just appreciate how cool these models look, or whatever, or how fun they might be to paint. People might get caught up. Like, I know Fox is so guilty, but like thinking of an army, it's like, got to be this, got to be that, and I'm getting that way too. It's like, I got to focus on this, and that's sick.
Well, I mean, I definitely, as well, another thing, like which is just, I guess, another example of how much more interested I've become. I actually watched some videos that were about, like, you know, different Tempestus Scion groups and like what they're known for and what they're good at, and like the different army attribute things they get, like different perks or whatever they are, like the different, I can't remember what they're called, but
they've got different like rules for like different
rules for different subgroups of that unit and stuff. So yeah, like even just stuff like that. Which, again, I would never have done a year ago. So, I mean, because, like, I'm like, hey, I've got some Tempestus guys. Maybe I'll suss out what they actually do.
Yeah.
Like,
perfect for Kill Team, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect for Kill Team. Yeah. So, you've been doing a lot of outward stuff, and we've played some Valheim.
Yep.
What was the most recent game that you did a video on?
The one that I did a video on just yesterday, in fact, was... Wild Terror 2.
Wild Terror, that's it. I couldn't think of the name. I'm like, Terror something.
And that was a game that it's $50 on Steam. I don't really think it's worth that. I don't think it's worth buying it for that either. It's not really, it's a bit of a so-so game, but the developers of that, they emailed me a Steam key. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go, see what I think.
Yep.
And then I made a video about sort of what I thought about it, and then during the process of researching for that video, kind of discovered a few little shady rumors and stuff about some of the stuff going on with that game. But yeah, I shared all that in the video, and it's, the game had some, like, a good foundation of, like, mechanics, like building and survival and everything, but it's just fairly lacking, and there doesn't seem to be many people playing it anymore. It was meant to be like an MMORPG.
Yep.
But it already feels like, when I played, I didn't see anyone.
Yeah,
didn't see any messages in global chat or anything.
That's crazy.
So it almost seems like now it's just dead.
I watched your video on it, and like looking at it, you compared it to RuneScape and Ultima, which one I'm not familiar with, but RuneScape I played many hours when I was younger. I could totally see that, like, from the get-go.
Yeah.
And like the
super grind.
Oh man, like, but the grind on RuneScape is real. Like, I remember just mining for fucking hours, or cutting down trees, racing bots to try and cut trees down because like you just like. And I don't know why I played it for so long when I was younger, and why I grinded for so long, but I enjoyed it. And like just watching the game that you played, I was tempted. Like, I was like, this looks appealing, but then when you spoke about everything about it and what's going on, it definitely would change my sort of view on it.
And some of the, like, pay-to-win stuff that they've kind of got in there.
Pay-to-win, man.
But yeah, so, like, because that's the thing, the game is very, very grindy. It's sort of by design. It's meant to be quite grindy to, like, gather materials, process those materials. And then there's, like, heaps of failure chances on crafting and everything.
That failure chance was really interesting. Like, I kind of like the mechanic, but just watching you crafting on this video and failing like 3 times, I was like, fuck that.
See, I don't mind if there's a crafting failure chance, but I think it should be a very low one. Also, generally, I lean towards, most times I just think you don't really need it.
No.
I think a lot of the time in games, if you have gathered all the materials and then you're going to make someone have like a huge failure chance.
Yeah.
And then they fail and they have to gather all those materials again. And that's the other thing too. I feel like if you have a failure chance, it should be, you should at least get most of the resources back. You should
like
never have something like,
at least.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing too. Like, part of it too was like, because I just started playing this game, my skills were low, so my failure chances were higher.
Yep.
But to actually grind up the skill in these things, I would have had to gather things anyway and get more, like, just build more random things and do all that. But also the thing I was trying to build was part of the tutorial missions that I was doing. And the tutorial dragged out over like 3 or 4 hours on this little island.
Yeah.
and I just gave up in the end because everything was just like, I'm going to have to wait like half an hour for this thing to grind. I'm going to have to go and spend another half hour gathering up all these resources I've just lost. And then I'm going to have like a 30% chance to succeed building this thing.
Yeah.
But I can't train the skill that I need to level it up, I don't think, until I build this thing. And just weird crap like that.
Yeah.
So that was all kind of like, all right, I'm put off this game enough. And then I sort of discovered that like a big focus of the game is PvP.
Yeah.
And they had a supporter pack on their website that was you could spend $130.
130 Australian? Was that?
I think it was US.
Oh, US.
I think it might have been US.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Even more Australian.
Yep.
But yeah, so you spend all that and then you get an item. So normally in the PvP, from what I gathered, I didn't actually get this far in the game, but from what I gathered, it was basically that like a lot of the game's content is player versus player, people killing each other and looting each other's corpses and stuff.
Like
and kind of like, yeah. But this supporter pack had an item that was a merchant bag or something, but it basically meant that you would no longer drop your items on death. So you could run around and kill people and take their stuff, but they couldn't kill you and get your stuff.
I imagine this bag has slots, kind of like WoW and all those kind of games.
I'm not 100% sure how the mechanic worked.
I'm curious as to like how big the bag was. RuneScape had this cool thing where like if you started the fight in the wildy or the wilderness, you would lose everything, but you could, if your prayer skill or whatever was high enough, you could save one item, and it was usually your best item. If you didn't start the fight, you would keep your best 3 items.
Yep.
So I wonder if this bag was like 10 slots, 20 slots, 30 slots, 5 slots.
I'm not actually sure. I didn't go into that much detail.
Yeah. The fact that you can pay to get it is bad.
That it was basically a pay-to-win mechanic.
Yeah.
Because and in a player versus player game, pay-to-win just ruins the game.
It does, 100%. Like,
because that's the thing. Imagine if, and even if it is the best 3 items or best 1 or whatever, imagine you see some guy and you're like, yes, I'm going to take him on because he's got this awesome looking helmet or sword. And I really want to get that.
Yeah, I can beat him.
And then you win and you manage to beat him somehow. And then you're like, oh, I don't get to take that item.
Yeah, I just get the rest of his crap.
But if he killed me, he'd get all my shit.
Yeah,
So it's just immediately you've created an imbalance between players that have money and players that don't. Players that are willing to spend money on it and players that aren't. Which I think in competitive PvP environments is just wrong.
It is. It just
wrong. Ruins the game.
Yeah, you've bought the game. That's all it should be.
This is a game that's like $50.
It's not a free-to-play game.
Yeah, exactly.
At least RuneScape, like it was free to play, unless you remember $7 a month. Anyway, but like, that's so bad. Like you've got like kids with their dad's a doctor and he's got his credit card saves on your computer and you can just buy whatever the fuck you want. That's pay to win is one thing that really deters me off any kind of game. Yeah. I used to love playing a FPS game called PlanetSide 2. You've probably played it.
Yep, I played that.
Sick concepts, like 3 factions all fighting to capture these zones. Yep. But pay to win, man, it was a really bad thing, and like I think it's fixed now. I don't know. I haven't gone.
Well,
back
see,
to
that's
it,
it's interesting you mentioned that one because I was actually talking not about that, but I was talking on my stream the other day. Basically, I was discussing like monetization and the way it affects game design and stuff. Mm-hmm. And a really interesting thing that came up is that these days a lot of games are designed because of the way their monetization is. They're designed to be really, really grindy. Yeah. Which is exactly what PlanetSide 2 is guilty of. Yeah. Because PlanetSide 2, I remember it was like you would have to grind like crazy just to unlock the next rifle. Yeah. Or you could pay like $40 or $50 and you could get a pack with like this rifle and then this kit and this grenade and this and that.
Skins.
And skins and all sorts of things. But it was like, but it's very much a case of when, I think when again, like when monetization and greed kind of starts to influence the way games are designed, it starts to become a really, really bad thing. Yeah.
We've seen it for a long time too. Like I think of all the mobile games that came out 10 years ago, whenever it was, like Clash of Clans and all that. That had, you do something and you like level up your base real quick and all of a sudden it's like 15 minutes, 4 hours, 48 hours, and it's like buy these gems and you can speed it up. Like that was the early days of it. I think it's gotten worse now. I got no problem with them charging money for skins. Yeah. Because it's like, cool, you want to spend money to make your gun look cool? Fine.
Yeah.
But like, it shouldn't be any better than my gun.
Yeah. I think that's also definitely an interesting distinction. I feel like if a game's free to play, skins is fine.
Yeah.
See, I've more recently I've kind of adjusted my view on skins in a way, because I used to just be like, yep, skins are fine, full stop.
Yeah.
But these days I'm sort of the opinion that like, yeah, in a free to play game or whatever, skins is fine. But especially in games that like, if you've paid for the game, I don't think skins should be should be like, there should be. I feel like if you've already paid like $60 or $80 or whatever, I feel like monetization just shouldn't be in the game.
Nah, they've made their money from the game. They don't need to make more money from the same game.
But yeah, like, because another thing that you see in games a lot of the time now is, it might just be skins they're selling, and I mean, even in free to play games are guilty of this too. But I feel like it's not quite as bad there, because it's like they've got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
But you see in games like a lot of the armors and stuff you can get access to just don't look very cool, and they're just not visually appealing. To a lot of people. And then there'll be some item on the cash shop that just looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's I don't know. It's interesting. Like, and to go back to like when with a game that you've already paid $60 or $80 or for whatever, I guess if it's an online game, like single player games, full stop. Just once you've paid that price, you should just not have monetization in the game.
No.
But if it's like a MMO or whatever, I feel like there is some room for some monetization, like cosmetics and stuff. But even then, definitely make sure that your game, like your base game, has some really cool skins and stuff in it anyway.
Absolutely.
Because you should not be charging players $60 and then kind of encouraging them to
spend more money on a store. Yeah, World of Warcraft does that pretty well. Like, obviously, it's you got to buy the game, then you pay a subscription. But like, they only have a few things that are available in this sort of cash shop where you buy a mount or a pet or some sort of I don't even know if you can buy armor or weapons. Okay, it's been a while since I played, but like, they do that pretty well. You got access to like 99.999% of the game. There's only that tiny little fraction where you got to pay for.
I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, because I haven't played much WoW, but I feel like WoW is one of the ones that's got worse over time.
Absolutely,
like
absolutely, gotten heaps worse.
Because it started out fairly reasonable, and then as time's gone on,
things are getting dearer. You're paying $50 for something which should cost you $15.
Yeah.
You know,
and then you pay the subscription,
and you're paying the subscription already, which has gone up as well. You know,
which is brutal. Because again, I think like if you're paying $50 for a game, there shouldn't be a subscription.
Nah.
It's like, it's the same thing with like, because I've been playing Guild Wars 2 a fair bit lately. Been getting back on that. But that game, it has a cash shop. There is like skins and stuff. I feel like it's an alright one. It's all just cosmetic stuff or like little boosters that you get generously rewarded in game a lot of the time anyway. But that one, you pay your $50 or $30 or whatever when it's on special, and then there's no subscription. Whereas then when you got something like WoW and you pay $50 and you're paying $15 a month, and then you've got the cash shop, and that's when I feel like it starts to just go way over the top. Like, it starts to just get to the point where you're just paying so much money to play this one game. It's like, man. Like, it's such an investment.
It adds up so much. Like like now it's up to, I think it's like $20 a month, man. So it's costing you like $240 a year to play this game. And like, they argue like, you know, you get heaps of patches and you get heaps of other content which comes out throughout, which is, I guess, is true, but you still got to buy the expansion. Otherwise you're capped at whatever level and you can't play all the new content. So you're always paying, and they're coming out fucking yearly now, I reckon. So you're already paying $300 a year to play this game. By the time you pay for your subscription and every expansion that comes out, probably more than that. So like,
it's a tough one.
It is.
But
it really is.
It shouldn't be costing you $300 a year. Just to play a game.
Like,
one game,
man.
you know?
Yeah. I played WoW so much in high school, and like I would have argued the opposite to that because I was so into it, right? So into it.
Which
but
again, I guess there's always the argument to be made, like if you've got the cash and you can justify spending the cash and it's something you really love, go for it.
As a teenager, I didn't have the cash, but I was still
but
paying
you're
it.
still super like, oh, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. I remember buying these like cards like from like EB Games and going home and typing the code out in the back, and that was before like you know you could put your credit card on there and have it just recurring and all that shit.
Small game time.
Oh yeah, and it's like, oh no, I've had a game time. All right, on the train into Geelong, go walk to EB Games, buy the thing. So it's taking you like 6 hours by the time you do that to get home to play again.
You probably have fond memories of just doing that. You know what I mean? The action of like I'm gonna go in and get more games. But that's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's that. I just feel like once you've got those 3 tiers of monetization, you know. Pay for the content packs, pay a subscription fee, and money to be spent on the cash shop. Yeah, it's like, it just starts to get a bit much for me.
It really does.
And then even worse when you see it in single player games, like you know, a lot of Ubisoft games. Like Ubisoft, they now have a very bad habit of like monetizing the crap out of single player games, making single player games super grindy.
God damn. They were the biggest culprit for the loot boxes for a while, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they were the ones who were pretty like, guilty of
gambling. It's gambling for kids.
And then when the I think it was EA.
Oh yeah.
That did the Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
What I love about that is that like that actually brought in like changes of the law and stuff. It did,
didn't it?
There was a huge backlash about that.
It needed to happen, man.
Because it was just like pay to win loot boxes. But it was to this ridiculous point where people had paid like, you know, their $60 or $80 to play the game. Yep. And then to progress, basically, it was extremely grindy. And people were working out that like to fully upgrade characters, they would have had to play on their one hero or whatever for like, I think it was like over 200 hours in some cases or something. Yeah. But it was things like that. And then they were just like, you know, or you could pay $50 for a pack of loot boxes and maybe you'll get this rare ability or whatever. It was just shit like that. It was just it was that typical thing of like the game is designed to be grindy as fuck, so players will be encouraged to spend money on the
to speed that grind up.
Exactly to bypass the grind.
I see if there was a loot box mechanic where the only way to get a loot box was to play a match, right? Play a round or whatever, win, lose, whatever. And you got one, and that was the only way to get it, I'd be like, okay, cool, because you might be able to get something out of it. Like, it's just a little wheel to spin, and then whatever it lands on, you know, like, whatever. I would be like, okay, that's kind of cool, but, like, the fact that you got to buy them, or, like, you know.
Well, that's the thing. As soon as you have to buy something like that, it literally is just, like, paid gambling for children. Yep. So, it's not a good thing.
Nah. It's amazing watching it change. Though. We're not old, but like we've been around long enough to see from playing split screen on the same TV, telling each other not to screen peek, to having to play a multiplayer game at your own home without your friends, online with paid pay to win loot boxes, and it's just such a massive change. And like I try and think like when did it happen? Like I can't think of a time when it happened.
It's been a gradual, like little by little, year by year.
Enough.
More and more just companies have been like, haha, we can sneak this.
We can do this.
We can sneak that in. Hey, what if we did this? What if we did this?
Yep.
Like, dude, I remember back when Oblivion had horse armor mods. The horse armor DLC.
All right.
And it was stuff like that where it's like, dude, you expect us, and even then I think it was like $2 or something, but it was like, you expect us to pay $2 for like a suit of horse armor, like something that could just be in the game, like and that was where, and for me I was like, whatever, it felt like they were just testing the waters, which obviously they were, because then you look at Bethesda because
you're like $2
they tried to monetize mods in 2015. They did the Creation Club and they said like, oh no, it's mini DLC, it's not paid mods, and all this shit, like but the thing is like, it's that thing of like little by little they test the waters. These companies say like, hey, such and such company did that, they got away with it, I reckon we could do that. And then before you know it, you end up here where you pay $60 for a game, you pay a $15 a month subscription fee, if you want to progress in the game, you have to buy stuff on the cash shop, which used to, until very recently, be loot boxes.
Yep.
So then you had, in that loot box, you had like a 0.02% chance to get the thing that you actually needed.
That nice skin.
Yeah. So then you'll be like, fuck, I better spend $50 here and then $40 here. And I can just, 15 here, 20 here. I'll fucking do it. I want that fucking skin, or I want that weapon or whatever. Like when in the pay to win games, it was like, I want that fucking weapon or whatever. And that's the thing. It's like, what the fuck's the point of playing something like that?
Yeah.
So AAA games, in my opinion, this is like where it's pretty interesting. Like the AAA industry is just rampant with greed. Greed is just rampant. Game design is fucked now. In a lot of those,
not even worth playing playing a AAA game. Like
play a indie developer game.
Just
exactly because you know the AAA is just going to be riddled with all the greedy monetization. It's going to be grindy as fuck in a lot of cases, even if it's a single player game. And it's just not worth your time. But then, as you say, like all the indie games and like the AA games, which are like sort of in between. Then you get a lot of quality games where it's like,
absolutely,
you can pay your, $30 in some cases, or $50 or whatever. And there's no monetization. You pay that price, you get the game. The content's great because the game has been designed to make you be like, hey, I got my money's worth. So
100%.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I think of Valheim as soon as you say that. Like, we've been playing that a little bit. Game's been out for like, 2 months or something like that? And like, what is it, $35 or something?
Yeah,
and
I think it's $30.
Yeah.
Australian, that is, I think, as well.
Yeah, so that's a cheap game.
So
and it's early access or
but
whatever.
For an early access game, man, it's solid.
Incredible.
It's solid.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And that's the thing as well with Valheim. Like, the thing that really works with Valheim is every aspect of it meshes together really well and fits with every other aspect in such a way that it's fun. Like it's, so it all combines into this really neat package where you can just sink hours into it. You can. Building random things, and everything feels so smooth and functions together so well that like you don't notice how much time has passed.
Nah, you've got to grind with all crafting survival games. Like you got to harvest wood and stone and whatever, but like it doesn't feel like a grind.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. A lot of the grind. This is another thing Valheim does well. It's the grind isn't overbearing.
No.
And interestingly, the game has a lot more to offer than just the grind. Like, the building is really solid, so you can spend hours building. So then obviously you're going to grind for the resources to build. Processing ores and stuff. Yes, it takes time, but like it's not a ridiculous amount of time. It's not, and again, like if you've got a group of mates together, one of my favorite things with Valheim was just like jumping onto a server with a bunch of mates, having like 2 people are building a longhouse, 2 people are off hunting trolls, like me and Shaz and another mate, Stewie. We like went off and were hunting trolls and just being like the troll hunter boys, and we were just being dickheads. And
we left lead architect Rory in charge of the building, and we were off hunting trolls.
And then someone else might be like out hunting deer or something, or like cutting wood, or so you've just got that sense of community stuff going on. But every single aspect of that is fun. Like the trolls are pretty fun to fight. The cutting the wood is funny because the wood's like the logs fall down and smash other trees, and like,
they can kill
before
you.
You know it. Before you know it, you're running away from like trees or going, oh shit, I killed my mate because I cut down a tree and it fell on him. And like, the building's just so much fun as well because like it all just works really well, and it's really like intuitive and neat and So then like to kind of make that comparison, for example, like the game I played yesterday, this Wild Terror 2. You compare the two, right? Similar concepts, like survival, building, yada, yada, yada. But Wild Terror 2, a lot of it's unintuitive, a lot of it's clunky, a lot of it's like it doesn't have much to offer beyond the grind. And I think that's like an interesting sort of point that I've had forming in my head for the last few days, is just that if a game is going to be designed with some grind happening, it needs to have more to offer than just the grind, which Valheim does. Because all the exploration is a lot of fun. All the building is really solid. The combat is actually pretty fun too. They've got like the parry mechanic in there.
Dodging and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can dodge roll. It keeps it interesting. Enemies will fight each other. So there's all this interesting stuff going on. So like, yes, you have to grind, but it's kind of fun because every other element around the grind fits around it nicely and is fun and engaging.
Yep.
Which is what makes a good like survival game, I think.
Hell yeah,
like
man.
a good game in that survival / crafting genre.
Yep.
Like it has to have more to offer than just the grind.
Absolutely. And like, man, we spent so many hours playing that.
Fuck, we did.
I finished my road.
Oh, did you?
I finished my
still
road.
want to do the fucking the river.
We got to
Great
play
Hall.
again.
So me and Chaz have been building up. I've actually got a few streams of this on
check
my
'em out.
YouTube.
Churchy_plays? Or is it just Churchy plays?
I think
There's no underscore.
they might be on YouTube. I think I put them all on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So it's just Churchy. I can't remember. If you just, I don't know.
Yeah. The link will
we
be
can link
in
it in
the thing,
Discord
yeah.
or whatever, or in the video description. It is.
Yeah,
We'll put it
yeah,
somewhere. But
yeah.
I think it is Churchy _
I think it
anyway, it'll be in the description.
Try to plug it, all right?
Yeah, tried to plug, unsuccessful because we both can't remember my YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like me and Shaz were building a great hall over the top of a river,
Huge.
and construction's been kind of postponed for now because we've just been busy and stuff.
It's been a union strike.
Bloody union.
What was old mate's name again?
Oh, Gunner.
Gunner.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. So we
union
had
rep Gunner.
So I don't. This bit wasn't on stream,
No,
but
no.
we spent a while building a road in Val, and that's the other thing, right? Perfect example. Just to quickly tie back into what I was saying about every element around it is really engaging, and that's what a good survival crafting game needs. Once you've got that, players start to make really fond memories of your game.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with Valheim. Because
Yeah.
I remember we were just building a road. That's all we were doing, building a road in the forest. And I realized that I could log on with two characters on the server.
Yeah.
So I had my proper character, which was Churchy, and I'd just talk normally like I am now. And we would, be building away. I'm like, oh, yeah, man, do you want me to? All right, I'll plow ahead and da-da-da. And I was plowing ahead, and Shaz would be laying the stones along the road.
Yeah.
And then I had my other character, which was Gunner.
Yeah, so you logged into him because you were looking at filming options as a third,
which I still need to figure out.
second camera. Yeah,
So exactly as Shaz says. Like I logged into this character because I wanted to try and there's like a free fly camera mode, and I wanted to try and figure out if we could kind of do some kind of cool time lapse thing.
Yep.
But I needed server permissions and stuff, which I didn't have because it wasn't my server, and also it may or may not work in multiplayer.
Yep.
But anyway. So that's why Gunner was originally on there. And then he became just sort of sitting around, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I started just putting on a stupid voice, being like, "Hey, I'm Gunner. You boys on smoke, eh?
So Gunner's the old bloke on every building site.
Yep.
That always wants to know when Smoko is.
Exactly. And that's exactly the story.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
it is. It's the old bloke on every work site.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boys, you lads know when Smoko is, mate.
He's actually a union rep, so any health and safety issues we have to go to Gunner, and he doesn't care because he just wants to know when Smoko is.
Yeah, all right, boys. Just let me know when we're going for Smoko, all right, mate? You get back to work, mate.
Yeah.
Good day, Cobber. How you going? But anyway, I did that voice for a while, and even as now, it just it's a bit tiring on the old throat. Been smoking 40 packs a day.
Yeah, just to get that voice out. Yeah.
But yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like just fun memories like that, and memories of hunting trolls, and when we first sailed in a ship. A lot of us
wasn't
like
that so good.
Just
Six of us in that ship,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Six,
and it's just so.
And like this is an indie game. I don't know if they've made anything else, but it's
the team had started with one guy, and then now I think
it's like five.
There was 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've sold over 6 million copies now, I think.
Yeah. And
it might be 5, but it was 5 or 6 million.
Yeah.
But
this isn't Blizzard or Ubisoft or EA.
Yeah.
This is just some dude that started this.
And that's
from
the other
love,
thing.
You know?
Pay $30, you get this game, you get all the content. It's not like, this greedy shit of like, you pay $30, but then you have to grind for 200 hours to get the ore to make an armor. Or you can pay $20 and get that armor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's... Yeah.
I got a cramp in my leg, sorry.
Dude, mate. It's a bit of a fucking IHNS issue here, mate.
I wish Gunner wasn't here.
Look, I'm going to go and smoke, eh? Do you want a beer, mate?
Yeah, it's only 9:30, Gunner.
Yeah. When's smoking?
10, mate.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'm going to have a smoke.
And a beer.
And if the boss comes around, you can tell him to get fucked. But really, do you want a beer?
Yeah, right, yeah.
We're back and we got a beer each.
Yeah.
Bloody Shaz left a little bit of dead air there, mate. Somebody have to do a bit of editing.
It's probably 10 seconds. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Felt a lot longer though.
I'll just leave it in. But yes, that's Valheim.
That's Valheim. That's indie games over AAA games.
Mm.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realise where that conversation was going to go, but I'm glad it went there.
Yeah, that was good.
So if you haven't picked it up, get Valheim.
Yeah, Valheim is very, very fun.
Well worth it. Well worth it. We got to hit it more too.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I've already got over 100 hours in that game. And it's just alpha.
Yeah,
And they're adding more stuff. And there's heaps of stuff that they'll be adding. So, yeah, excited to see where that all goes.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Just... Fond memories. Sorry, I'm just reminiscing now.
It's fair, man. It's easy. That's the thing. It's like I said, once you've got that, like, the grind is not overbearing.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of fun elements around it. That's like a perfect recipe for a survival slash crafting game.
Yeah.
To start making people have those awesome memories about it.
Absolutely. Like before playing Valheim, I couldn't really remember a game that had made me like so consumed. I mean, that's a bad word. Like it makes it like it's a bad thing, but like it was probably WoW when I was a teenager. You know, like just a game that just like piques that little childhood interest. Like it's like, wow, the world is so big and magical. That's what this game did. And like playing WoW through high school, I had that. Everything was new, all these new discoveries and going to a new zone, whatever. And then after that, nothing, man. I'd play games. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. It's fun. Like,
yeah,
Valheim had that wow and awe sort of like vibe behind it.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
the first time you go in like the Black Forest and it's like, wow, this is like spooky shit. Like
they did some really, the graphic style is fairly simple, like pixely kind of on a lot of the characters and everything.
Yeah.
But they did some amazing stuff with the lighting and everything. So it just the game looks gorgeous sometimes.
Yeah.
And the install's only like $1 or something.
Yeah, yeah, and it's huge.
Yeah. And it's because it procedurally generates everything. So it's just, it's insane.
It is. It's like, you think of like procedural generated open world games, like Minecraft's the first one that comes to mind. The graphics are 10 times better than Minecraft, but they've got that sort of
retro vibe.
Yeah. Like if you look at things up close, you see the pixels, you know, they're like that big, whatever, but like, they just done such a brilliant job with it, with everything. Like, and the possibilities are endless, man. Like, where are they going to go? Like,
so as a somewhat of a gaming YouTuber, Valheim is a game that I can say is definitely worth your $30.
Yep, you've heard it here first, folks. Yep. Take
That's
Churchy's word for it. While you're there, subscribe to his YouTube channel.
And subscribe to Hobby Homies.
5K subs, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hit that the other week.
Yep.
And yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff. It's like, it's interesting just seeing each stage of the channel growing and kind of like, it's just unexpected, you know? Like, because I still remember when I started the channel and like I had the idea of like, I want to just like make a bunch of gaming videos and see where it goes. And now I've hit 5K. It's still growing. Slow and steady. I'm happy with that. I'm cruisy. And you know, everything's like, as I've said, it's I've been able to give up the Coles job. So now I'm more focused on everything that I'm doing. Which has been great, because it's great to have that option now where for at least a year or two, I can just focus on all the creative stuff that I'm trying to do, like the gaming, the music, the Hobby Homies stuff, whatever else I come up with, and I can do it and still financially stay afloat.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
So yeah, it's a good feeling. And hitting 5K is just kind of like reinforcing that, and it's kind of showing me the progress I'm making. So
it's a solid milestone, man. Like,
exactly. And then 10K is the next one.
Absolutely,
10K is the next milestone.
Absolutely. Like, you see so many channels that get to like 2K, 3K, whatever, and then they sort of just stagnate, I guess. They die off, whatever. Yours has hit 5, which I got to feel is sort of that, it's broken that limit.
Yeah.
You know, I think, anyway. I
feel you. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah. So
that's true for sure. I reckon that's Because you're right, you see a lot of channels with like 2.4,
Yeah.
3.1 or whatever.
And they last uploaded like 6 months ago, 9 months ago, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, obviously they've put it on the back burner.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You're doing stuff fortnightly, at, if not weekly, you know?
Yeah, I think that another interesting thing is that when people start to send you game codes and stuff, and they want you to try things, that's as well. That's another example of like, hey, this must be going well.
Yep.
You know. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, man. The fact that Outward, gave you all those early access DLC codes and stuff.
That was great.
That's sick.
That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with all that.
Yeah.
So I got early access to an Outward DLC at the end of last year, which was just great. I had like 2 weeks early access, and then the game that I reviewed yesterday, those guys, that company sent me a code. Didn't really like the game, but you're going to have that. That's going to happen.
Exactly.
And as long as you're fair and honest with your reviews. And
you didn't trash it. You were honest.
No, I was honest.
You didn't say it was a bad game.
No.
You said, there were things that didn't appeal to you.
I just think it needs a lot of work and doesn't really appeal to me. So.
Of course.
But yeah.
Absolutely. Talking about getting stuff for free.
Hey.
We got some good giveaways for next month. I'm not going to announce that yet, but we will be doing a live episode Thursday next month, which is I think the 7th.
I won't be.
You won't be. You'll be there.
I'll be on the other side of the table. Yeah. You might see my hand or something.
Maybe. I'm sure you'll make a cameo appearance.
Sure, I'll hand someone a beer at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. But Fox and I will be back in here the 8th of April, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I think it's back to now. Daylight savings are going to be going hooroo. So we'll be on YouTube, and links will be everywhere: Facebook, Discord, all that sort of stuff. Which we're actually, the YouTube live thing has been good. It's been fun. We've got new tech, which will help make things even easier for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all going to be fun too. We're going to have some overlays in the video. When we did that a little bit, but oh man, I'm looking forward to it.
It should be a good one.
Yeah, we always love our live episodes, and this is going to be a good one, I think. Got some competitions to draw, stuff to give away, games to play, new giveaways, which we will announce then. But I think that's probably gonna wrap it up. I reckon.
Yeah, I think that's
been a good session.
Talking
games, talking hobby, some Valheim. Goddamn,
Yeah.
drinking some beers always.
Been a good little evening that we've had here.
It has been, yeah. We should do this more often without Fox.
Yeah, Fox just, look, let's be honest.
Brings the mood.
Shaz knows it. You guys all know it. Fox he just really brings the mood down. Really
bit of a
really
wet
bad
towel.
Bad vibes.
Yeah,
as the kids are saying these days.
He's not.
His vibe
Fleet.
is off. He's
Is
not
fleet a
on
word? I don't
fleek.
Fleek.
He's not.
Fleek. Yeah.
Fox is not on fleek.
Yeah.
And his vibes are just bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say that's so fetch. That's not fetch at all. It's the only line from that movie I know. And Caitlin wonders how I know it, and I don't know how I know it. But
is that Mean Girls?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I remembered. Like
you know it too. They know it. All right. Shout out to the patrons. We couldn't do this without you guys. So as always, massive shout out to Blake, Burnsy, Whack, Final, Foggy Highway, Joey P, Lockie, MJ, Lethal, and Moose Moosington.
And we've got Alchemaholic, Arkham, Caitlin, Dave, Churchy.
Shout out himself.
That was weird.
I did it purposely.
Rad Rooster, Oliver, Hockers, Tricky, and Aggro.
Thank you guys. You are homies, OG homies, goats. Everyone in the Discord as well. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and hanging out. I feel like I need to cover more stuff. I don't even know. This is sort of different.
It's new territory.
It is new territory. Just trying to think on the fly what else to talk about. Jump in the Discord, like the Facebook page,
Painting
subscribe to YouTube. Painting comp's going on still. You've got 2 months, a month, something, 6 weeks, somewhere between there left. Still plenty of time to enter. Seeing some great entries. And so keen to see that happen.
As ragtag as this ending outro has been, next week will be better. Fox will be back bringing the vibe down.
Yeah. Bringing the fight. Better?
That's it, isn't it?
That's about it, yeah. Thanks again.
I've been Jack. Churchy.
Churchy? Like, who the hell
Who's
is Jack?
Who the fuck's that guy?
I haven't known that guy since, like, primary school. I've been Shane. You've been amazing. And listening and watching and partaking in this moment
And reading.
with us. Thank you. And reading.
And vibing.
Vibing.
With
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Fleek vibes.
On fleek
Yeah,
vibes.
that's so fetch. All right.
That's so fetch.
Hooroo.
Right. Cheers, lad.
Fuck, that was close.